giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Happy Friday. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Texas Family Fitness, Freeman, Mazda, Hyundai. It is Friday, and I am your boy, your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! I'm happy and excited. It's Friday. We got OTA stuff to talk about. Open media session. Impressions are being made by our young rookie, man. So we're going to talk about that a lot today. A whole lot today, to be honest with you. And there's some other news and notes that came out of OTAs we'll get into. And if all goes right, if all goes well, we'll actually get a Cowboys beat reporter joining the show live at the top of the hour, and one Clarence Hill Jr. from the Star Telegram. So make sure y'all stick around for that. Again, all has to go right. All has to go well. These things are always fluid, but it is what it is. Or as our guy likes to say over here,
it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Good morning, Cowboys fans. It's Friday or Friday, depending on if you're off or not. If you got paid, just got paid, right? It all depends on how you feel about your Friday. But for me, it is Friday. You know, we got a good weekend coming up. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling happy, man. So appreciate y'all for being here on this Feel Good Friday. Let me give a shout out to the Bomb Squad in the building.
Bomb Squad!
Danny Savage, Special K, Professor O, AJ Torres, Matthew Tisdale, Ted Prickett. What's up, Ted? It's been a minute, man. I haven't seen you around here in a minute. David J. Lord Nova, Jack Bynum, Toxic Tom Downey, burner account. Big Sarge, Trey Manning in the building, Samuel Rowe, Primetime Phil. Primetime Phil is hilarious. He said, I thought I was late, but I'm on time. Sky time for prime time. I like it. I like it, prime time. 215 Khalil, Tino Santiago, Adam Mack in the building, CJ Richards over on Facebook, Peter Rizzo, Vern. What's good, Vern? See, when I see Vern, I think of Atlanta. Wasn't that Childish Gambino's name? Wasn't it Vern? Was it Vern? Or Ern? It was Ern, not Vern. It was Ern. Thinking of Vern Troyer, Ernest, or not Vern Troyer. That's the small guy. Let me just keep going. Grant Rain, H2O, Matt Goddix, TC915, Big H. Who? Mac Jones, James Rogley, Craig. What's good, Craig? C. Burleson, T. Hawk, Connor Collins, Iceberg Q, Bert. What's good? Bert the Priest. Interesting name. Captain America. And Chuck P. Y'all see how I just like put them all together? Vern, Ernest. That's me, man. My mind jumbles like that. But that's why I need take a sip to continue to wake up. What's good, bro? Lee in the building. Lemitra. I'm always mess that up. I really got to get that down, Lemitra. My apologies. Marcus Flores. And the many more coming through. Tariq, I see you. Paul, I see you. Appreciate y'all. James, Mr. Unpopular Opinion in the building. James, let's not turn that into a bit, man. We don't want you to be a contrarian just to be a contrarian, right, James? We want to have some context to that, right? Have some context to it. But I appreciate you, man. What's good, Swain? Antoine Swain in the building. Good show lined up, which is basically courtesy of the Cowboys practice yesterday. OTA's day 4. What to know, okay? And it's a lot that came out. I know it's OTAs, and I know a lot of people just look at this and scoff, but if you're here on this show at Central Time 8:30, Eastern Time 9:30, and Pacific Time what, 6:30, you're a diehard. You're looking for this kind of stuff. You're into this. Now the casual fans may not care about this stuff, but us, we care about these things that come out of this part of off-season training camp, because we're going to appreciate it here in about 2 weeks when we have nothing coming out of camp and they go on a big break. So, hey, man, y'all better love it up right now, because it ain't going to be much coming out in a few more weeks. So, what's up, D Schiff? Danny Savage. I already said Danny Savage, my bad. And Ted, I got you too. Sully and Sam. Yeah, we them boys. What's good, we them boys? First cup of coffee, need to, then to the gym. I had to. This ain't my first. This ain't my first, man. But all right, let's get into the roundup, which is mostly injury updates coming out of OTAs. So not nothing crazy, but we got some injuries. Some guys came back. Some guys did not. But we'll get into it here.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
This is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. More than just a fitness club, we provide the tools, support, and resources you need to achieve your goals. Strive for progress, as we say here, not perfection, because those fitness goals are accomplished not with one workout. So progress towards those goals with Texas Family Fitness. You can sign up at any of the 13 different locations in the DFW area or visit TexasFamilyFitness.com. First up, one of our prominent, or guys that I think is a prominent player, I put the bullseye on his back to be a year 2 skyrocket. I think it's Osa Odigizua. I think Osa's going to be a beast. Or at least that's the guy I have as my year 2 breakout player. He returned back after a quad contusion. I think it was a quad contusion last week. But Chauncey Golston was still the first team 3-tech. Just find that a little interesting. Chauncey Golston, and again, it's the first game. Listen, we're going to treat today like Overreaction Monday as well. Okay? We're not going to go too crazy about any of this stuff. But it is what it is right now. This is all we got to talk about. And it is exciting to get Osa back, but it's also exciting to hear that Golston, I mean, if you're really playing full-time 3-tech, like the 20 pounds must be real, right? Like I haven't been down there. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any pictures or videos or anything like that. He obviously put on some weight. I don't know if it's exactly 20. I'm not there, right? But even if it's 15 pounds, 20 pounds, it must be sitting right. It must be looking good, because he is a full-time DT according to people down there. So, hey, let's see if Golston can make things tough on Tristan and tough on Osa, which, again, I still have Osa as that guy. But we talked about this before, and we talked about it yesterday on Vacha's show. If he truly is moving inside, that changes the dynamics of the competition. I think it becomes now Golston versus Tristan. And listen, like Tristan, you had 3 or 4 years or whatever it is now to really show something. If Golston starts popping, if Golston is getting first team 3-tech reps, defensive end turn defensive tackle, what does that tell you about Tristan Hill? I'm saying. And it's early. It's early. Something to keep an eye on once we get to the mandatory mini camps, and then once we get to training camp, then we'll really see how these boys feel about Golston and about Tristan, et cetera, et cetera. The other one that got a lot of people excited yesterday was Michael Gallup working on the chords. So, which is a good thing, by the way. I don't want people to think it's not a good thing. This is a good thing, but this does not indicate he's going to be playing week 1. In fact, I'd actually urge you guys to want to proceed with caution with a guy they just signed to a 5-year deal. But he's back on the chords, and I reached out to our doctor here. If you guys remember Dr. Boothby of OSMI, I said, he always said, hey, man, if you got any questions about injuries or anything like that, reach out to me. I said, well, damn it, let me put this to test. So I reached out to him and I asked him, hey, is this an indication that he's ahead of schedule? Or is this a normal situation, 3.5 months out of surgery. And this is what he said, quote, "It's a good sign, not really ahead of schedule or behind. 3 months out is all about linear activity, straight line stuff, no twisting, turning yet. He's obviously working on linear strength and muscle balance. Right on target, good sign he's there." He started with good sign and good sign he's there. That's really what we as fans should be focusing on. All the medical stuff in between, we can't really do nothing about that. But it's a good sign that he's out there and there's no setbacks. And really, that's at this point in his recovery what you want to hear. No setbacks. Kind of just on time to his recovery, which Stephen Jones said. Now, you can take it with a grain of salt, but Stephen Jones said 2 to 3 games he would possibly miss to start the season. The reason why I say take it with a grain of salt is because for whatever reason, Cowboys injuries seem to linger. And I don't want to say whatever reason, they're injuries. They don't come back as quick as we would like them to. Tristan Hill tore his ACL in October of 2020. He didn't come back till the middle of 2021. Neville Gallimore's elbow situation happened in August. He didn't come back until late November. We were told that would have been like a 5-week injury. Ended up being months and months. And then DeMarcus Lawrence, he broke his foot, obviously, so that was going to take a while to come back. Blake Jarwin tore his ACL the first game of the season in 2020, and he wasn't really full go until the end of August, which was almost a full-year recovery. So I'd imagine these guys are going to take their time with the dude they just invested 5 years and whatever, 50-something million to. I don't think you want to rush him back for week 1. I think you want to see where he's at, and then you go from there. And I think they'll see that. I think they'll say, well, let's look at Michael Gallup. If we think he can play by week 3, we don't put him on injured reserve. If we feel like we need to be more protective here and save him from himself, or he needs a few more weeks, then they probably put him on IR. And IR will keep him out for 4 games now instead of 3. So that's where we're at with it. Then finally, another injury update. Tyron Smith returns. He comes back to practice on a limited basis, but in a weird way, limited basis, but he got most of the first team work at left tackle in team period. It's a good thing. But it's still Tyron Smith, and it's still Tyron Smith's back, and it's something that the Cowboys are just going to have to watch out for as long as he's a Dallas Cowboy, right? Like Vach always talks about, he might wake up and his back is aching, and then, he might sneeze and his back is aching. Yeah, that might happen. So, you just got to keep an eye out on that. But that wasn't the Smith that stood out yesterday. Oh, no, Cowboys Nation. That wasn't the Smith that stood out. That is the morning roundup presented by Texas Family Fitness. Y'all know me. I've been pounding the table. That's like knocking at the door. For a swing tackle in here. And the Cowboys have been talking about Matt Willetsko, Josh Ball, and things like that. But yesterday, Tyler Smith, they said, all right, it's your turn, big fella. We're going to slide you out the left tackle from time to time and see what you got. And Tyler Smith did just that. He had some reps with the first team at left tackle and some reps at left guard next to Tyron Smith. Boy, Tyler and Tyron Smith is really going to mess me up all year. But we're going to hit the Twitter streets, and we're going to hear from Micah and hear from Coach McCarthy about all of that. But before I do that, I'm going to hop back here into the chat and see what you guys have to say about the roundup. Toxic Sky, do you see Golston inheriting the Tyron Crawford role? That has been brought up a ton in the comment section, but doesn't it kind of feel that way? Kind of feels that way, but damn, if you putting on 20 pounds, I feel like just stay there, man. That's a lot of weight to be up and down, but it kind of feels that way. And I know that comes off as a negative thought because Tyron Crawford was asked to do so many different things inside, outside, and we all believe it kind of may have possibly derailed his career. And we don't want to see that happen with Golston. So, I mean, in a way, how can you feel like so excited for a guy to move in and out via weight, putting on that weight? if he's putting it on to stay at 3 tech, that does excite me because you got a quick player who has some pass rush ability. He can come in there and do some NASCAR type of things. But if he's putting it on to lose it next year, you gotta be concerned. I'll be concerned. What's up with the video about Mark not being credible enough to be a guy? Whoa. I'm not sure D Shift what that is about, bro. Yeah, I don't know what video you're speaking of, man. But shoot me show me the video on Twitter. I'll see what's up. Lemetre, hey Sky, OJ Howard's in Buffalo already as of March. Yeah, I knew that. OJ Howard wasn't available as an option. I didn't know if you guys thought he was, but yeah, he's not available as an option. He was signed as soon as free agency started. Danny Savage, on passing downs, you're going to see 4 defense ends. Yeah, I don't know if you'll see 4 defense ends all the time because Osa Digizua was a legitimate passing rush threat, and not Neville Gallimore. My man Golston is technically a defensive tackle now, but you will see what I think it was Voch called it the end game. You'll see that from time to time. Armstrong, you'll see D-Law move in. You'll probably see, I guess you can go ahead and say if Armstrong slides in, you bring down I can bring down Micah. Who would y'all rather have? I ain't gonna ask that question. It's definitely Micah Parsons on the other side. But I'd put Micah Parsons and D-Law next to each other and then say Osa and Fowler next to each other if you want to have some of that defensive tackle. But if it's like third long or something like that, and you want to go full NASCAR package, yeah, put in that end game. Put in that end game. JA says, good info on the doc. Yeah, man, I'm so lucky. We're so lucky to have that doctor to be able to do this. And he'll be back, by the way. We're done for a minute here in regards to bringing him on, but he'll be back during the season. And I think that's going to be fantastic to have him available during the season because of all the injuries. Big Sar says Golston hasn't been converted to full-time 3 tech. He's still going to be doing both primary edge and 3 tech on passing downs. Incorrect, Big Sarge. You are wrong. According to those down at the Star, he is a defensive tackle now. Now, that doesn't mean he won't be doing some defensive end things. But according to the insiders down in Dallas, he is a defensive tackle now. Like, that's what he is. And he'll probably do some things like Osa Digizua, who was a defensive tackle, but if you go pop on the film, he plays some 5 tech stuff. So you'll see him do that. And honestly, when you think about it, his strength, like he came into senior week saying, I want to move inside. And he did well. If you go look at some of the tape last year, Golston, some of his best snaps, he slid inside. Yeah. Maybe this was Golston's idea. Maybe Golston came to coach and said, listen, I feel more comfortable in there. And you got a guy like Basham behind behind DeMarcus Lawrence, who's a better pass rusher. It is what it is. He's a better pass rusher than Golston. And Golston trying to figure out a way to get on this field on a more consistent basis. And maybe it's 3 tech. But yeah, I'm just Big Sarge. That's according to those down at the Star that he is a defensive tackle right now first and everything else opposite. But let's hit the Twitter streets, man, and get back to this Tyler Smith impression today. Joy Epstein said, rookie Tyler Smith played tackle in college and is now practicing at left guard and left tackle. Mike McCarthy actually thinks he fits more naturally at guard than tackle so far because of his aggressive nature. We will hear from Mike McCarthy on exactly that. But to hear that he took some first-team reps at left tackle next to McGovern and then left guard next to Tyron is encouraging that it's not too much for him. But it could also mean they're just trying to figure it out right now. But when you listen to Mike McCarthy in the presser, they really want him to be left guard right now. But I wonder, when exactly is that transition going to happen at left tackle? Because he also brought up a few times the long play with Tyler Smith. The long play is to have, this is what we're looking at. That's why we're doing things at left tackle. When will that begin, though? Because we know Tyron Smith is going to go down. Is he going to slide out the left tackle? I'm still not sure about that. But if he does, Bobby Belt, He tweeted this out about Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith is going to be really, really good. He's gotten better every time I see him. Stonewalled Micah Parsons at left tackle today. Repeat that. Stoned Micah Parsons at left tackle today. Remember yesterday on the list, one of the things was Tyler Smith's hands. I want to see Tyler Smith's hands. I want to make sure he's continuing to get better. And when Bobby says here, he's gotten better every time I've seen him. And then if he has a good rep against Micah, clearly those hands are continuing to get better. Which, if you listen to, was it Nate Newton? Nate Newton talked about, that's something that could be fixed in 30 days. Is the hands. And then I said, okay, we get the hands and let's make sure the feet follow the hands and the body control and things like that. I really do think he can be coached up. And I forget who was in the chat yesterday who said, well, do we have the coaches to do it? Ladies and gentlemen, I think what Tyler Smith has to work on is nothing. It's not rocket science. So you'd have to be an all-time terrible coach to not train him in the kind of basic things he needs to get better at. The thing with Tyler Smith was always he was a work in progress from the ground up. So you're basically just reprogramming him with the basics and fundamentals of offensive line, because the athletic gifts are there. The mentality is there. The IQ, it's all there. And he's clearly making an impression on the not the rookies, but the veterans and Micah Parsons and the coaches. And this is what Micah had to say about Tyler Smith yesterday. I think Tyler's going to be a really good player, but man, we're really excited about him. He's a strong kid. He gets his hands on you. I don't see too many people getting away. He got the best of a lot of guys here at practice so far, including you, Mike. He really made a great impression. He clearly made a great impression. In fact, I think it was Dak Prescott and Zach Martin. Dak Prescott and Zach Martin, if I'm not mistaken, they actually compared him to Ron Leary. Clarence, who will be joining us here shortly. Mike McCarthy said Tyler Smith seems more natural at guard right now. His physicality shows up, and he has impressed the veteran players. Dak Prescott couldn't shut up about Smith's strength and compared his power, as did Ezekiel Elliott and Zach Martin, to Ron Leary. Interesting. I remember on draft day when the pick happened, and I had some fun with the pick because it was obviously other guys. I was like, man, we'd love to get this guy or that guy. But me and Foots had a conversation about Tyler Smith, and one of the players that popped into my head was Ron Leary. And after that, I went on to say this about Tyler Smith in my instant reaction video after the draft. I'll tell you this. Big boy when it comes to the pros. Explosive. Mm-hmm. He's a finisher. He's nasty. Yes. He's powerful. Mm-hmm. I said on a draft show with our guy Foots that he will instantly be probably your most talented left guard you've had since Ron Leary. And most definitely your most nastiest left guard you would have had since Ron Leary. Oh, who's that sharp fella? It's a nice little jacket there you got, man. Is that a chain, man? Nice little chain. No, seriously, man. If you go pop the tape on, and if we're thinking Dallas Cowboys, Ron Leary came to mind. Strong, physical, powerful, nasty. When was the last time we had a left guard like that? Ron Leary. So that's what popped to mind with him. And to hear guys like Tyron Smith not Tyron Smith, but Zach Martin and Dak Prescott and Zeke all compare him to them, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. But quick, take a listen to Mike McCarthy, who went into detail on Tyler Smith at OTAs. Gave him some praise, but then also caution, like, okay, it's OTAs, and I don't want to get too excited yet because I want the pads to come on. But he said that he's handling things pretty well.
But I think he's done a nice job so far.
What does that say about him that he's able to manage that?
Oh, yeah. No, I love the way he's wired. Yeah, he's very aggressive, has an alpha personality even as a young man. So he'll continue to grow, but I think he's impressed the veteran players so far.
I don't think I even realized the nuances between the left tackle and left guard position until I talked to him today. But given that you think that he's so aggressive, was that why there was such a mindfulness about getting him into those positions and getting some fluidity about position flex early on, as opposed to getting him settled in one spot?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there's a big picture part to this too. I think anytime you have, you bring in new players to your organization, you want to, create opportunities for them to be successful, and that's really what this is about. So, I think he's, seems a little more natural at guard right now. I know he's played tackle in college, but he's his aggressive nature bonds well for him in there. So, I think it's a real credit to him that, because of his physical gifts, that when he needs, when young players hit a crutch point, how they react. And his reaction is to, maybe jump set a guy, be aggressive. So obviously I think that's a little bit more challenge out there on the edge with the type of players you're going against, particularly the pass rushers too. So, but hey, we haven't put the pads on, yet. I never get really excited this time of year. I'm just trying to get everything taut. I really keep my eye on the target as far as just making sure they understand what they need to do. So hopefully nobody disappears that's having a great offseason program, but it has happened. So
I appreciate Mike McCarthy for breaking that down there and then saying, yeah, let's hope that, this is not just some spare the moment type of thing that these guys can carry it over. I think he went on to continue to talk about how the next part of the offseason program is going to be a little bit more difficult for these rookies because they kind of ratcheted up a little bit next week. So is next week? Yeah, next week. I think the 5th and 6th or the 6th and 7th. The 6th and 7th is the final part, I think, of OTAs before mandatory minicamp. And I believe they're going to kind of ratchet it up a bit. So paying attention to what happens there is going to be important too. But listen, Tyler Smith, have a day, sir. Have a day. You've impressed coaches. You've impressed your teammates, your veterans. And I'm pretty sure the fans, hopefully, should be happy about hearing this because I say this all the time, y'all. Y'all know. I get it is what it is. It's OTAs. But would you rather hear about him getting cooked or would you rather hear about him holding up and doing well? Obviously, it's the latter. Real quick, let's get Danny Macho Man Randy Savage on the horn before we bring in the famed beat reporter. What's up, Danny?
Good morning, Sky. Good morning, Sky. As the big bad booty daddy, Scott Steiner would say, size does matter.
He did say that.
I don't care what you weigh in June. I care what you weigh in January. So you put on this weight, that's great. Could you maintain it through camp in 17 weeks? As Michael Irvin said, I don't care what 40 you run. What can you run the 40 in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on size. Now let's get back to this Tyler Smith thing. Now, maybe I'm crazy, but draft night, the mummy Jerry said, well, we didn't go with Tyler because we need to get stronger on the inside. In the NFL, it's hard enough to play one position. So we go over Linderbaum for Tyler Smith. Everyone thinks we're going to plug him in at left guard. But now we got him playing left tackle also. Philly got 4 gangsters at D tackle. Now you put Tyler at left tackle, he's not going to be blocking those guys. So why did we skip Tyler Linderbaum then? So are you telling me like Loresco and Josh Ball, are they busts already?
No, I think the long play is for Tyler Smith to be a tackle. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. But that I think is a long play. So I just think they're trying to see how it goes right now for Tyler Smith, because this is the time you do these things, right? Let's get this out the way now, see what it looks like. And then when the time comes to fully do it, at least he's had some mental reps and muscle memory reps to do so. But, I mean, just last week, Danny, they had Ball and Let's Go out there, and we were talking about those dudes taking those reps. So I just think this is normal practice stuff, right? You're trying to get guys at different positions to see what they can do.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with you there. It's just like, you know what it is, man, I'm an old cat, and it's like I just can't get excited over over helmets and shorts. I just can't.
That's
Let's
fair.
see what happens.
That's totally fair, Danny.
And let's say, and let's be honest with you, if Tyler Smith was getting beat left and right, we still wouldn't hear about it with the Dallas media. Jerry would be out there still saying he looks all great. You know, listen, I'm a Dallas fan just like everybody else.
Get
but
Jerry.
perfect example is Marquise Bell. Bro, they're comparing this guy to Ronnie Lott already. I'm like, come on, man. It's like we can't blow up all these picks.
Danny.
Let these guys play. Am I right or am I wrong?
They calling him Ronnie Lott.
People put a Marquise Bell in Canton already. Oh, he's going to be a linebacker. He's going to be this. He's going to be that.
You know, it's funny. People think I'm a sinister. People think I am toxic, like Toxic Tom. I'm really not.
No,
Y'all,
I'm not. I'm the voice of reason.
Danny.
I'm the voice of reason. How about the Vasher kid from Texas Tech? They talk of him. They talk about him like he's Randy Moss.
Oh,
Oh, let's put him at tight end. Let's put him at tight end. Let's put him.
Well,
let's put him at left tackle.
That's a bit wild. I agree with that. That's a bit wild.
But it starts with Dallas. They just blow up every draft pick. This guy's this. This guy's that. You know, we haven't won nothing. Like I said to you, draft day. Forget about it. Leave Smith the card.
Forget about it.
Leave it there.
But all right, but Danny. So the reason why people are talking about these people, and I'll get to it in more with the rest of these tweets. All 4 of your wide receivers are out. 4 of your top 5 wide receivers are out. So TJ Vasher is a guy who's getting reps, so they're going to talk about him. Marquise Bell made a play. They're going to talk about him. No one is saying put these dudes in Canton or anything like that. But these are who we got to talk about, brother. It's OTAs. That's why I said caution. No, don't get crazy about anything. But if fans are calling these dudes Ronnie Lotts and who's the other one you said? Randy Moss, which that's not happening. But
well, that's the Vasher kid from Texas Tech.
Yeah. If fans are doing that, then that's just nuts. And I'll tell you, like I tell everybody else, ignore that, right?
But like, listen, I understand where you're coming from. But now, if we're talking possible left tackle with Tyler Smith going into 2022
what about
draft,
D Shift? What about Jay? What are we talking about? Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat. Go ahead.
But if we're talking Tyler Smith, a possible left tackle, the 2020 draft hasn't even come anywhere near yet, and we're already looking at a guard with our first-round pick.
Oh,
am I right or am I wrong?
If you think that if they move him to left tackle immediately, like if Tyron Smith goes down, and then we decide to move on from Tyron Smith, and they decide to put Tyler Smith at left tackle, I mean, if he can do it, listen, if he can do, you have to have the ability to take in new data. If he shows that he can do it, Danny, I'd much rather put him there and draft a left guard than bring in a rookie left tackle. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'd give him the shot to do it, but if he had 17 holding penalties in his senior year, now, I mean, can it be fixed? Yes. I just think he's better in a phone booth. That's just all I'm trying to say.
Oh, I agree. I think
he's a mauler.
Right. Yeah, but what if he shows that he can do left tackle things next year?
Okay, well, would you rather have a Ron Leary gangster type at tackle or inside a guard in a division where, let's be honest, I ain't saying these teams are great. Redskins have decent defensive tackles. Philly has decent defensive tackles.
So you didn't go to the other part. Would you rather have a Ron Leary left guard, or would you rather have who you want to compare it to him at left tackle?
I don't need. You don't need a gangster. You don't need a gangster at left tackle.
What?
You don't need.
Danny, go sip some coffee, Danny, please.
You need a good player.
Danny, left tackle is the blind side of your franchise quarterback.
100%. But is anyone going to say Tyron Smith was a gangster? He got a lot of people by with.
I said, Danny, I don't know why you're so like in this mind frame, bro. You're not listening. If he shows that he can do those left tackle things like he's doing at left guard, then yeah, I would rather have him at left tackle. I'm not saying he showed that, but if he does, what's more important, left guard or left tackle? That should be an easy question.
Left tackle. Unless the quarterback is lefty, then it's your right tackle.
Yeah, that's all it is. We're speaking hypothetically here.
Notice, I just think I'm more pissed about is let's go and Ball. Like I kind of like, I don't see them talking about them, or that's what I think I'm more about. You know.
I hear you. We just talked about him last week, Danny. But hey, listen, brother, appreciate the phone call, Danny. Keep on keeping on, brother. Appreciate you.
You got it, Scotty. Great call. Later.
We got to do some positive things, man, because Danny is not with it at all. He is not with it. But, hey, we have our guest in the building, Clarence Hill of the Star Telegram, ladies and gentlemen. Let me bring him up in here. How's it going, Chill? Can I call you Chill?
Yeah, of course. What's happening, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great and honored and happy to have you here joining this show, giving us some of your thoughts, man.
No problem, man. No problem. You up early on every morning like this?
Listen, every morning like this, I'm up early here talking Dallas Cowboys, brother.
That's all right. That's all right.
Enjoying the grind.
What you got cooking for me?
All right, so listen, you right down there, Chill, and I'm gonna jump right into it. The talk coming out of yesterday's camp and yesterday's practice, I should say, seems to be centered around the rookie, right, Tyler Smith. And we finally, or you guys finally, got to see him play left tackle, left guard, play next to Tyron and all those good things. But do you see a noticeable difference with him on the field compared to years past when Connor Williams was in there?
Well, let's pump some brakes just a little bit. We're talking about the Underwear Olympics.
Underwear Olympics.
Let's understand. This is the Underwear Olympics. If you can't look good in shorts and t-shirts, you shouldn't even be in the NFL. Okay, and just from the layman's eyes, we're excited about Tyler because he's the first-round pick, and so we're going to be looking for everything he does. I don't think that Connor Williams stood out badly in past minicamps.
Right.
His problem is when the pads got on, when it was real football where he had his issues. He didn't have his issues in minicamp. So to say, if it's different than than Connor Williams, you can't say that. All you can do is talk about Tyler and what you like about him, what the Cowboys liked about him when they drafted him, and what is standing out about that part. And it's all a projection because we have not seen him on the field. We've never seen him against this type of competition.
Exactly.
And again, I'm a Tyler Smith fan because he's from Fort Worth. Fort Worth kid. I cut for local kids anyway, local Texas kids, and he's certainly from Fort Worth. He's big and strong. Talking to them yesterday, they talked about his strength. They rave about his strength. There was a time he got that pass rush against Micah Parsons and stopped him cold. And Dak talked about him reminding them of Ron Leary with the strength inside. And now when he gets his hands on you, you ain't getting away. That's one thing they raved about, and they're raving about his maturity, his work ethic. I'll tell you one thing that's positive is that teams generally don't like to play rookies in multiple positions. They want them to learn one thing. They don't want to overwhelm them. The Cowboys have no problem playing him at left guard and left tackle, even this early in camp. Now, usually you want to get him set in one position, let him learn one position, then we'll expand off of that. That's the philosophy. But his intelligence, and his work ethic, those are things that, in addition to his strength, he's a guy who can handle learning two positions at the same time, which says a lot about Tyler Smith.
Yeah, you can hear that in his interviews. He's extremely impressive, and I can see why they loved him because he sounds kind of like a veteran at, 21 years old?
Yeah, he's mature. He sounds like a veteran, but he's also a sponge. He's soaking up things. He wants to learn, and he's a quick learner, all of that stuff. So, yeah, they're excited about what he can do. You don't draft a guy, I don't care what the pundits say, you don't draft a guy that high and in that position if you don't think a lot of him. And they have thought a lot of him, period. And, basically they like what they've seen so far. They feel good about their pick and what he's showing them. And certainly, they love the size and strength. That's one thing. They want to get bigger in size. And he's bigger, but he's also a smart guy, and he's learning. And certainly everybody talking about he had penalties in college. Well, he didn't have the best coaching. He also, was new at the position. And so you're going to, so once you clean up some of the technique things, I think those penalties he had in college went away, but he never got beat.
Right. That's one of the things I was looking at, Clarence, was his hands, and because that's most where his penalties came from, was being wild with his hands. But I think that's something that can easily be coached up. Have you seen him get that under control over the 3 practices I think you guys took part of?
Yeah, I can't say that I'm the guru as far as hand technique or offensive lineman. And I'm not, you know, and the thing about it is that it's 90 guys out there, damn near 90 guys out there. They're all over the football field, and they're in different sections, and you're looking at different things. And most people, we're watching the skill guys. Come on, we're watching Dak, we're watching CD. You're not, and the offensive linemen are, when they're doing the individual drill, they're the furthest away. So I can't say I'm watching his hand, okay? So I don't think anybody else can really say that they're looking at his zooming in on his hand drills and all the other stuff, whatever else. But you have to know that he's being coached more and paying more attention to those details than he ever has in his life. And he's going to be coached up in that. But, we're at practice. I'm writing. We're doing other things.
Yeah.
And certainly you the skilled guys jump out at you just because it's the skill guys. And, it's really hard to judge offensive and defensive line play when you don't have pads on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's underwear Olympics, we say.
Well, you talk about the skill position, and from an injury standpoint, the one unit that's pretty much right now a blinking red light, Chill, is the wide receiver position, man. You got 4 of, I think the top 5 of their receivers were out yesterday, but that gave an opportunity for some of the other guys to step up. A bit of a two-for question here for you. What did that group look like, without the top 4 guys, or 4 of the top 5 guys, I should say? And is that Tony Pollard usage as a pass catcher, does that seem real to you?
Well, I mean, it's always been real. It's always something they talked about it. I know Mike McCarthy's talked, since Amari left, that they're going to use more of Tony as a pass catcher and use him as a receiver and something like that. That's something they want to do. And they're going to play him in the slot a little more. So, let's know, when you say top 4 to top 5, remember the number 1 is there. CD is there, and CD looks the part.
Yep.
Okay. CD was there, and so we already knew Michael Gallup wasn't going to be there, and Tolbert and James Washington have been injured. They haven't been practicing the last few weeks, and they sat out Noah Brown yesterday. So, you have some of the younger guys, get some opportunities. With the first team, T.J. Vasher and Timmy Fehoko get a lot of opportunities with the first team at receiver. And, it's good for Vasher, who's been here for a year, to see. He may have caught 1 or 2 balls. Timmy caught a couple of balls. Timmy also had a couple of drops. People didn't really note that the interception was a drop off Timmy's hand in cover. The deck through, and he had a couple of nice balls. Also had a couple of drops. And so this is off season when he needs to step up and make some plays and be more consistent. After being a draft pick last year. So it was a good opportunity. This week has been a good opportunity to give him the first team, get more rest with Dak. But you certainly can't have those drops. Nope. They continue to rave about Tolbert, and he did not practice with receiver, but he also, he returns some kickoffs, so he's close to coming back. And here's a guy who looks the part. You watch his film and you watch him in practice, and this guy looks like he has it. It's disappointing that Washington has an ankle injury or something. That was in a boot. He wasn't in a boot yesterday. He was in a boot last week, but he's still not back at practice. You want him to get these opportunities with Dak Prescott, but it's early. You still have another week or 2 of OTAs plus, the mini camp before you go to training camp. But CD is one. We sat and talked to Dak, at his locker, just chilling, and he is really excited about CD, and he says CD has it. He is gonna. He has everything, and this number one. He's being more vocal. And I talked to Jerry Jones last week. He said CD was going to be upgraded the number 1 receiver over Amari Cooper because of everything he does on and off the field. They certainly. You didn't draft him in the first round and give him number 88 and not expect him to be your number 1 guy. So this day was coming anyway. It came faster than we thought it would be. And certainly because they were unhappy last year with Amari Cooper for a number of reasons, including, not being backstage and missing a couple of games. But this day was coming with CD, and they're really excited about CD. Certainly Jerry has to say that, but Dak is very excited about CD. He sat in there. He moved his locker next to him in the locker room. They're right next to each other. And he's ecstatic of what he's going to get from CD. He said he expects him to have a big, big year.
Does it feel like Dak is a little bit more assertive with CD Lamb this year than the previous 2 years of hey, man, we got to develop this chemistry, this bond, I think CD Lamb called it, more than ever?
Well, I mean, two things are at work here, and people forget that. Dak is more assertive, but Dak is around.
Oh, that's right.
In his rookie year, he was in a contract holdout. Okay? CD's rookie year, Dak missed all of the offseason program in the contract holdout. Last year, Dak was rehabbing from ankle injury. So this is the first time Dak has really been around to be fully engaged with CD in the offseason. That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And it's with everything. I mean, somebody asked McCarthy yesterday about Dak, them using Dak and having him call receivers and call it like they're leaning on Dak more. Well, they can lean on Dak more. This is the first time since McCarthy's been here that Dak's been involved in the offseason program. I mean, people forget that. His rookie, McCarthy's first year, Dak was not around. He was in the contract holdout. His brother died. He was dealing with depression, all this other stuff. Last year, Dak was rehabbing from a torn, from a fractured leg. He was not around. He couldn't do anything, And so, Dak is around this year from the beginning. And so, you can use him to help, talk to people before the draft. You can use him, and he's around to get fully engaged with receivers and do a lot of things that he couldn't do in the past. And it makes a difference.
Yeah, I think McCarthy touched on something similar about having Dak involved more with the personnel than before, and it could be just that reason. He's here now. He's around now, not dealing with certain things.
That's what it is. You feel good about Dak, but even if you wanted to do it in the past, you couldn't because he wasn't around the past 2 years.
Right. Hey, switching sides of the ball here, man, because I love some defense, love what Dan Quinn is doing with this team. One of his highlight rookie guys here, Sam Williams, because he wants to be Sam now, right? Chill. It's not D.
He's Sam Williams. He wanted to be something else, and I think he just kind of settled on being Sam Williams.
All right, making sure it's Sam. We don't want to get in trouble here. So, he likes to use chess pieces, and Sam Williams, to me, seems like he could do some of those things. When you're taking a peek down there at the defense or the drills or in team, do you see him moving Sam around, doing some versatile things early on?
No, I mean, again, Sam is not a guy that's moving around. Sam is a defensive end.
Okay.
And he's playing in. He's not a guy that's moving. The guy that moves around is Micah. Micah's the only guy on defense who's playing in two different positions and in two different meeting rooms. He's in the defensive line meeting room, and he's in the linebacker meeting room. We talked about that yesterday. And so, Sam is not necessarily the guy that you're moving around at position. He's a rookie, he's a pass rusher. That's what he does best, and you want him to be there. He's one of the people you drafted to and signed, added to help replace Randy Gregory. And you want to give him every opportunity. And he looks the part. He's a big guy. He's not a little guy. But Sam is somebody they're excited about for sure. But the big buzz yesterday was Micah. And we talked to Micah. And Micah, let DeMarcus Lawrence know that he's not getting his sack title back. Not getting his sack. DeMarcus talked last week about wanting to get become the team sack leader again, and that's his motivation. He was trying to, he let the rookie show him up, and Michael let it. Listen, I'm glad you coming to play. I'm glad you're finna join the sack party, but you're not getting the sack title back. That's mine. You get 10, I'm getting 20.
I love it.
So
too.
It's good. It's good fun banter, but it's good. And again, DeMarcus Lawrence looks trimmer. He's in better shape. Here's a guy, and people forget that DeMarcus Lawrence has not had a full offseason since before he signed his contract. He's always been rehabbing, coming off surgery, doing something. This is the first offseason in a long time that he can just work and get ready for football. And so, that makes a difference. And it's funny because everybody's had this conversation about DeMarcus Lawrence, and he's not getting the sacks, but he's an all-around football player, and his sacks are overrated and all this stuff. Well, DeMarcus Lawrence let us know that sacks are not overrated. Okay, he cares about sacks. He's a double-digit sack guy. That's why he got paid the big money, because he was a sack guy, not because he did all the other stuff. And he wants to get back to being known for sacking the quarterback.
See, this comes off to me that Micah Parsons, he makes everybody else around him have to raise their level of play, or you're just going to get beat out by the young buck.
Well, that's what I call it the Micah Parsons effect, but that's what it should be. You should be competing. Back in the '90s, you had guys competing with each other and everybody else for tackles and sacks and everybody else. And what it also means is you need more than one good player. One problem the Cowboys defense have had in the past is they haven't had difference makers on every level of the defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You need difference makers. You need good players competing with each other to make plays. You look at some of the great – everybody talks about Dan Quinn. Well, Dan Quinn is a great defense coordinator. But you know what made him great in Seattle? He had Hall of Famers on every level of defense and multiple Hall of Famers in the secondary, potential Hall of Famers. Look at that defense and look at how many Pro Bowls and All Pros they had.
Yeah.
And to think he's going to do the same thing in Dallas without difference makers, without plus players, that's being naive. I don't care how great a schemer he is. You still need players to make plays.
Jimmy's and Joe's.
And so you need DeMarcus Lawrence to be that type of player, not just a good player, but a next-level difference-making player to go with Micah Parsons, to go with Trevon Diggs.
Yep.
You need plus players, not just good players who do their job.
And I think, Chill, at this point right now with DeMarcus Lawrence at the front level, Mike at the second, Diggs on the boundary, and I would include Jaron Kearse on the back end, for the first time in a while, you kind of got 4 of those guys on your defense. I can't quite remember the last time it's been that way.
You need a guy tackle. You need somebody to be that guy tackle. You need an inside guy, to go with all that. You need an inside guy. You need, one of these guys, also a Diggins or somebody to step up and be a difference maker on the inside.
Indeed. Real quick, quick question about the second level, and then I'll move on to the corners real fast. What's up with Jabril Cox? I know he's rehabbing from the ACL, but what's he doing out there in regards to the cords or just kind of rehabbing? Update.
Well, yeah, he just rehabbed. He's ahead. He's ahead of Michael Gallup because he's had his surgery first. He should be ready for camp and start the season. But yeah, he's rehabbing. There's been no setback, and they're excited about him taking the next step and bringing some athleticism to the position, to go with Micah Parsons.
Okay. And then the last question on the defensive side of the ball, the cornerback position. Is it the same starting unit, or are we seeing or hearing guys like Kelvin Joseph, Nashawn Wright pushing these other guys? And we understand the Kelvin Joseph situation. So if you got any update on that, that'd be great too. But what's up with the quarterback spot?
The quarterback spot is the quarterback spot. It's the same. I mean, and Kelvin's been out there. I haven't really seen him, do much, at least as far as turn the ball over, knocking the ball away. But his status to me is still up in the air, and we'll see. If things change, we don't know what the investigation is and where the NFL is and all that other stuff. Because again, if he is on the team, he may be suspended at some point.
Right.
But Anthony Brown is still the starter. Obviously, Trevon Diggs, Jordan Lewis is still the nickelback, and everybody else is slotted behind them. And have not heard much from Nashawn Wright. He's not jumped off the page at all.
Interesting. We got Clarence Hill Jr., Cowboys beat writer of the Star Telegram, joining us here. Hey, Joe, in closing, you covered Marion Barber, obviously, during your time here in Dallas. And, we as fans, we loved his passion and how he played and his playing style. But I think since his passing, you've seen a lot of reporters or former players come out and talk about him as a person. What was Barber like during your time, from your viewpoint down in Dallas, and maybe one of your favorite moments when you were covering him?
Barber was not media friendly. He didn't like talking to the press, and he was shy. But just great kid, good teammate, fun in the locker room. I remember there were stories about him playing the piano, like music, play the piano. He talked to Keith Davis. He's picked up the guitar, and of course his style, talking to Bill Parcells, who called him a near perfect player because he never missed anything. He could block, he could catch, he could do it all on the field, but he was always present. He never missed practice, never missed anything. He was always there. Same day with Skip Pete, talking to him yesterday, he said Micah Parsons was, a model player. He was coachable. And certainly we knew he could run and catch the ball in his backfield. Was short yardage guy, hard nosed guy, all of those things. And that's what people remember about him. He was always there. He did what he was supposed to do. he was not a guy who got in trouble. Some of the things that he got in trouble after his career were mainly about mental health things and people taking advantage of him and things like that, not because he was a bad kid or was criminalistic or anything like that. That just wasn't who he was. And he's a guy who was, it's sad, and we don't know how he died yet, and we're still figuring that out. But we know he has some mental health issues, and we're going to speak to it just because his running style, that maybe some CTE was working because, he tell how many concussions he had because of his running style and the way, he played the game. And, he had a shortened career likely because of all of that. And so those are the things that they're disappointing. But Barbara the person, Barbara had a heart of gold. Again, was a fun-loving guy, was shy with the media, and certainly everybody's going to miss him.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you sharing that with us here on the channel. Hey, Clarence, or a.k.a. Chill, this has been fantastic, man. I truly appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we can do this again.
All right, man. Thank you, man. No problem.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day, man.
All right.
That was the Clarence Hill Jr. of the Star Telegram, Cowboys beat writer. Good stuff there. A lot of nuggets there from him that we'll dive into maybe later on in the show, and we'll go back down and break it through. But we're going to take a quick break, come back and jump back into these Twitter streets because I see y'all are going at somebody in this chat. So I'll let everybody kind of collect their breaths here, and then we'll get back to some of these OTA notes. But fantastic call by Chill, and hopefully we can, develop a report here and have him back on another time.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you. We'll do it live.
Go ahead and get this read out here for you, man. We're going to talk about this week's ride of the week, which is the 2022 Hyundai Santa Cruz. Starting off at $33,500 for their top of the line model. Has the towing capable with trailer sway control, a truck bed, which is interesting for a Honda, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 21 city, 26 highway and miles per gallon. And they have all the modern features that you look for in your modern day vehicle for your modern day driver. So check out freemanhyundai.com or visit Freeman Hyundai in Irving, Texas. Good stuff there from Clarence. Good stuff there, man. And this is what we're going to try to keep doing. We're going to try to keep getting guys who are down there. Hopefully, eventually, we'll get down there that are involved with the team and things like that. And kind of cool, man, to have Chill join. I've been reading his stuff since I can remember. But really enjoyed the conversation we had here. But I hope y'all were able to enjoy it because I looked in the chat and my goodness. We all right, chat? We good? If we good, man. If we good, Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Drop some fire emojis in the chat if we good and we ready to keep it moving here on this Feel Good Friday. As we hop back into these Twitter streets, let's see where we want to pick it up at real quick. Let's see. We talked about Tyler Smith. Our guy Chill kind of briefly talked about Semi, and I can't wait to hear what you guys got to say about that because Twitter tore my man up. They tore him up. Let's see what's going on here. King Element says anything good on gas is a must. What are y'all talking about in here, man? Appreciate you, Jay. Appreciate you. You know what's funny? I see some of you guys say no bots have been in here. I wonder, are the bots not here because we got more wrenches handed out to the Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
I wonder. I'm going to have to hit up YouTube and see if that's the case. Because if that's the case, we finna give out wrenches to everybody. You get a wrench. You get a wrench. You get a wrench. We keeping them all out of here, man. But okay, so we good. I see the fire emojis. I see the bombs in the chat. Let's get it. Let's work, man. Let's get back to the Twitter streets. All right, so, he briefly talked about the play of the day, what everybody's talking about here, and that's Malik Hooker getting the tip drill interception off of Dak, which came on a pass that Simi Fehoko dropped. I don't want people got on Simi when this happened, man. They really tore Simi up. But as Chill said on the in the interview there, he also made some plays. So it seemed like there was a mixed bag for Simi Fehoko in yesterday's practice. Last week, he seemed to be fine. This week, it's a bit of a mixed bag. And David Hellman talked about his mixed bag as well. He said James Washington and Jalen Tolbert aren't back to practice yet, though Tolbert did take punt return reps today. Noah Brown also sat out. 4 of the top 5 guys were out, which is wild. And Simi Fehoko and TJ Vasher were the big beneficiaries. Both got a ton of work with Dak. Saw Fehoko make 2 or 3 nice snags. So, all right, there's a little something for Simi Fehoko. And if we go look at, I believe Kyle Yeomans also had some good things to say about Simi as well, but he also had a bunch of other different things on that I want to touch on once we get back into the Twitter streets. But before we do that, man, let me get my guy B Bird on the horn. And I got you, Chef. I got you, brother. Yesterday I was just handing them out right quick. But let me get B Bird on the horn, and I got you here, man. We got a couple super chats I want to get to too. But B Bird, what's good, OG? I actually just peeped your super chat, and my apologies, man. I didn't get a chance to do that, but I'll hit him up personally and tell him.
No, don't worry about it, man.
Okay.
I know you're trying to run a show there, but so I'll clarify that. So Henry Maddox was his college roommate. That's my cousin at UT.
Oh.
And so we were for Texas Relays, which is a big event, social event in Texas. So we were going to Prairie View, me and Henry's brother, my other cousin, and so we went down there and stayed with Clarence for the weekend or whatever. That was back in the days before he was Clarence Hill. You know what I'm saying?
Before he was chill, or was he chill back then?
Before he was chill. So, and then I look up one day and I see somebody with the same name writing for the Cowboys. I asked my cousin, I said, "Is that your roommate?" He said, "Yeah, that's my roommate." I'm like, God dog, man.
And now,
made it, man.
20-some years later, he's one of the longest guys, I think, beat reporters, credentialed down there. I know David Moore's been there for a while. Mike Fisher, I don't even know if, that whole thing. Who else has been there for a while? I forget the woman's name. My apologies, but I think she's writing for the Star as well, or might be a different. But there's
I remember her. I can't remember her name.
I forget her name. There's 4 of them that's been there for 20 years, and Clarence Hill has one of the closer connections with Jerry. I think it was pretty cool that he came on and is like, yeah, I'm talking to Jerry Jones. How great of a flex is that? I'm just talking to Jerry Jones, and he's just telling me this and that. That's just pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that is cool. And so. So it was pretty, I would say this too. I met one of my girlfriends down there, and that didn't end too well either. But
hold on, B Bird. Hold on, we don't want to get you in trouble, man.
So, but anyway, that's a long time ago. But hey, so I got another analogy I was gonna give you on Tyler Smith, and it has, of course, I give him with my daughter's softball because I've worked real close with her on that. But she played league ball, which it's a different level.
Sure.
I guess select would be AAU in basketball or whatever. But when she played league ball, she was the best player on the team. And so what the coaches did to her was they almost have her helping in drills because they wanted to get the other girls up to her level. And so what we thought was, we were like, oh man, she's the best player on the team. She's good. We're just gonna keep on this path and go forward. And my wife had the bright idea to say, hey, no, let's put her in select. And I was like, well, for what? She's good. She's the best player on the team. Well, we went to select, and she was the worst player on the team. And so what it was is then we had to work on the skills to get her up. The coaches and me, we had to work in our own garage, hitting off the tee, going to the field, and doing a lot of other stuff. Well, what I'm saying is Tyler Smith was the best player over there. So what sometimes coaches do is say, hey, man, we're good here. Like, that guy there is good. We ain't got to work on nothing with him. Let's work on these other ones.
At Tulsa, right? You talking about at Tulsa?
I'm sorry, at Tulsa.
Yep,
at
I
Tulsa,
agree with
yeah.
you, brother.
I should have said that. And so what ends up happening is when you at a small school like that and you a NFL first-round draft pick, well, you got to realize this is not Michigan, this is not Alabama, this is not Florida, Texas. They're not used to seeing that kind of talent over there. So when they see it, they just like, hey, man, we can get everybody else up to this level. Then we're good. Leave him alone. Don't give him that much. But
like,
what that does is harm to him.
Like, we just need you to play, Tyler.
Yeah. Yeah. You being big and strong is enough for us to win, yeah, but it's not enough on the next level. And so at Alabama, he probably would have got a different coaching. At Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, he'd have got different coaching, different level of coaching because why? All the players over there are good. So you need to, the people you go against are good. And so you need to, just because your physicality and your stature and your power isn't enough, but at Tulsa it is. And so I think he probably has a lot of, he's a raw talent. And I do agree that when you get him with good coaching, he's going to improve markedly, I think. And so I just want to kind of give that opinion, just kind of throw that out there, man, that you might see a big jump in him. And sometimes those guys, man, on that level, man, the coaches are just satisfied with who they are, and they're not trying to work on them, man. And I'll take your answer off air, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Yep, we touched on that, I think, kind of throughout the draft process, post-draft process of Tyler, especially when I think somebody in Dallas talked to the coach and the head coach came out and in a way he kind of said, hey, listen, we understood that Tyler Smith had things to work on, but we just were kind of like, just play. Just play. We'll deal with your deficiencies. We just need you to play. But he went into detail better than I could about it. But we talked about it yesterday where I said at these small schools, they're just like, hey, man, you're the best player out here. We just want you to be out there, and we have to coach up this guy because this guy's not even close to your level. Like, this guy truly needs my attention. You're good enough, and we'll deal with you throwing dudes around. But it is encouraging to hear Tyler Smith taking on to the coaching. And again, if you went and listened to his interview after he got drafted, if you had doubts on the guy, I think that should have made you feel a little bit better. I kind of often joke about this, but if a guy has the mentality of wanting to be great, you cannot look over that. Like, not only does he have the mentality, but then he puts it into action. You can't just be like, oh, yeah, whatever. Because if that dude has talent, but he may not be technically sound, or it may be a bunch of things he got to work on, if he has the raw talent and then the want to, and you put that together, it's a pretty good chance that he's going to be at the very least a solid player. Not everybody, and people gloss over this just like they kind of gloss over, having veterans in the locker room. When I talk about, and I don't want to derail my own damn show, but people gloss over that, man. And I don't want to use the previous player we drafted, but pedigree, the mentality, the want to, I think should hold a lot more weight in this process than maybe it does here in Dallas. And I'm not saying that the process doesn't work. They clearly they're a good drafting team. We talk about that all the time. They can draft well. But there's people that kind of scoff at veterans, quality veterans on the team. Oh, no. Let Aaron Hansford be the starting linebacker. We don't want a quality veteran in here to mitigate his process to be a progress stopper. Go listen to Micah Parsons. I wish I pulled this thing up. Go listen to what Micah Parsons had to say about a veteran offensive lineman that gave him some tips and tricks to the trade. And I'm talking about La'el Collins, who everybody hates here. Not here, but when I say here, I don't mean in there. I mean everybody else, like my guy Vosh says. But Micah talked about La'el Collins telling him, hey, man, you got to make them fear this. Fear one thing, speed, and then build things off of that. And Micah was like, oh, yeah. Something I didn't think about. And he took that and he's implementing it, and he obviously is still implementing it. And Micah, as we got to remember, he's only year 2. So when I say, bring in a quality veteran like an Anthony Barr or somebody of that nature, it's not because I need him to lead Micah Parsons or I need him to, say, hey, Rook, this is how everything. He's not a rookie no more. But I've talked to a number of players over the last 2 years. And I often talk about having a veteran in that locker room, whether they were young at that point or the veteran at that point. And every single last one of them says it matters. They've all told me it matters. So I know as fans, we want to see the 75th player and not a guy who's been in the league for 8 years, because that's how we are as fans. But if that is a quality veteran, I'll take that all day and tomorrow and deal with it the rest of the way. I just had to get that out. 351-999-3787 is a call-in line. Joe, he's silly. He said, yo, Will, why didn't you ask about Ryan Nall? Let me just say this about Chill. If I would have brought up Ryan Nall, he probably would have never came back to this damn show. I'm just serious. He probably would have said, Ryan Nall. I actually had another question lined up for it, but I was like, I got rid of it. I said, nah, we're not going to do this. See, and that's the beauty of this. I'm still learning, y'all. Like, I'm still developing relationships with these people here in Dallas and figuring out what questions to ask this person, what questions to ask that person, what these guys may have more inside knowledge on, what this guy may have more inside knowledge on. Asking about Ryan Nall ain't one of them for my guy Chill. But there's a lot of other things that he can bring to the table that would help out. Oh, I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon about these bots. Damn. Did y'all get them? And y'all got them all. Like, Bomb Squad! Ooh, listen. I was on my way too, ready to block. I looked down, gone. I love y'all, man. All right, let's get D Shift on the horn, man. What it is, what it do, D Shift, the new moderator on the channel.
Hey, what's up, Scott? Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Listen, yesterday I was just like, look, let me just throw these things out real quick to help me with these bots, because it was crazy yesterday. But today I kind of go through it a little bit more, man. What's up with you?
R.I.P. the bots. R.I.P. the bots.
Man, wait, no. Wait, they don't rest in peace. We want them to suffer.
Oh, rest in hell, then.
Here we go.
Yeah. But nah, man, I really need to give you some flowers, Scott. Just because, man, you know, you come up like real quick, right? And man, you do it with I was watching something by Mike Fisher yesterday, and it like really turned me off, man. Because you know, I don't like content creators who feel like they got to kind of put down other people. Because he made this comment where he was talking about basically how people don't. He basically was alluding to the fact that people don't have as much credibility as guys like him who are looking at the training camps, right? And not understanding that, you know, he's kind of made a comment like YouTubers, you know, they're not there to see it, and they're not this and that and that.
Sound like hating to me.
Like dry hating.
Yeah.
Dry hating. And so just to undermine the fact that it's almost like he's trying to get the people to be like, well, just come tune in to me and tune in to me only because I'm the only credible person. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't like that about guys. You know, like we the people, I mean, if you're not making something, then I'm looking for another video. And I'm like, I can't get enough of this Cowboys content, as you can see. We need it. We need our fix. So it's just a message to all these content creators, like, you don't got to, like, put down other people just so you can have people come play with you. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So, and I don't ever see you do anything like that, man.
Ever.
You stay in your lane, and you ain't got no hate in you. So, man, that's just flowers, bro.
I appreciate it, man. That's just me in general, and I don't ever see the need to do it. I know how hard. Like, I don't care that we aren't down there as content creators on a YouTube channel, and pardon me if I get a bit defensive, because I've worked with him before. But if that's the case, you're attacking me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're attacking me, and I understand that you got you know your way of doing things, but trust and believe me, I work just as hard in the way that we do things here.
And at the end, again, the people, we don't need y'all there. We just need someone who's gonna give us a platform. You know what I mean? Because that's the one thing. Like DallasCowboys.com and 105.3 and all these national, they're not giving us the platform to say what we gotta say, and put the things out that we gotta put out. So you guys do that, and that's why we rock with y'all, man.
And brother, why do you think I'll have guys like Kyle and Dave and Chill and Brianna and whomever else that we've had over the last 2.5 years. It's people that have been down there. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? But then also the fact that as the YouTubers are starting to rise, these people are trying to come over and do the same thing. They know to come to y'all.
Come on, man.
They're not just coming on y'all show just because they ain't got nothing else to do. They see y'all.
Come on.
So
if it was all sweet and you didn't need to be in this community, why you here then? You wasn't here 2 years. Woo! Let me go ahead and move on, brother, because I don't want to get too crazy here, but I gotta defend my YouTube brethren and myself because I'm a part of it. But I digress.
I mean, we just know y'all got a lot of people that rock with y'all.
Appreciate it.
But man, Tyler Smith, man, I was looking at a film on him at left tackle, and one of the weaknesses that he had was, I guess, he had those cornerback blitzes or those stunts that a guy would kind of those timing blitzes,
Yeah.
And his need to come in, like he'll come inside, and the guy will kind of tack outside and get to the quarterback. But I don't see moving him to left guard. Like, I think all of his weaknesses that he had at left tackle that's done, and like just everything that you need as far as what he's strong at. What he did well in college, I think that's going to be just like amplified, just being inside and playing on alongside a guy, because he doesn't have to like cover those outside blitzes. He doesn't have to worry about cornerbacks coming and stunting on him or whatever. Like, he's just strictly playing inside. He can work those double teams with Biotish. So, man, I think we just got exponentially better. People who still hating on the draft pick, I promise.
I don't understand how you words. How can you? I mean, honestly, it's one thing, D Shift, and I apologize for interrupting you because this is silly. But if you wanted a different player at that pick at that time, that is understandable at that time. But once he's picked, right, and you get over the fact that you didn't get the guy you may have wanted, and you start studying the player and obviously looking at the pros and cons and then listening to the player, I mean, how can you not like Tyler Smith? You know what I mean?
Man,
I don't understand
that's those people who got to see it to believe it, and that's cool.
Oh, that's understandable. But
I get it.
You can say I got to see it. I got to see him do this, do that. Sure, right? But what is your evaluation now that he's here? You feel me? And maybe I'm asking too much of people, but that's all I'm saying. Like, why don't you like him if you still don't like him?
Man, I'm looking at the measurables. I'm seeing what he's adding to this team. That Connor Williams was just lighting the ass, man. He just couldn't get it done. Technique wise, I would take a rookie who lacks a little technique but is strong as hell versus somebody who has all the technique but is gonna get pushed around.
Sure.
I'll take that any day. So man, I'm just keeping it going, man. Excited about this team moving forward. I'm still gonna contend to the fact that we're gonna be better, but we got to see it to believe it, Scott. So I'm going to let you go, man. Enjoy your weekend. And, man, stay doing what you're doing, bro.
Appreciate it. Have a good weekend, Chef. I'm not going to dive too much into it. I wasn't there. I don't think I just overreacted, but because I'll keep these conversations private, but there's been conversations about situations like this. I don't understand it. A lot of us here work really hard. I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of us work here, and I can speak for myself. I know damn sure. One thing you're never going to tell me, you may not like how my approach, you may not like my delivery, you may not like that I had a good time. I had somebody in the chat, get them. I see the chat. I had somebody comment, y'all ain't gonna believe this one, Bomb Squad. Somebody commented in one of my videos, and I had to work on this, and said, well, you laugh too much on your live stream. He said something like, you need to be more serious about the Dallas Cowboys or don't talk at all. Oh, word? If you don't like it, man, you can just keep on moving. That's how I feel. If you don't like it, keep it on moving. We are going to have a good time here. We're gonna talk about the Dallas Cowboys seriously, but we're gonna have a good time doing it, and hopefully you learn something, and I learn something from y'all at some point in some of these streams or videos. So to that fella, kick rocks. Period. All right, let's get back into this thing. Let's get the Kyle Yeoman's notes here, then I'll jump back into the phone lines before we wrap up the show. This is what my guy Kyle, who another reliable guy I lean on down there. He said, today's Cowboys OTA notes. Micah looks like a monster. Sounds like a vet. Boy, been sounding like a vet since last year. It's just an impressive dude. He saw first glimpses of Tyler Smith offensive tackle, but Tyron was a full participant as well. Oh, that's different. He said full. I thought it was limited. Great reps from some young offensive linemen and wide receivers. Smith, Jones, Freifogel, Fehoko, to name a few. And then more good days from LVE and Ghostin. And that's where I kind of want to stick at real quick is the LVE and Ghostin. I think LVE, as we stand right now, is an extremely important piece given the linebacker room, especially without Jabril Cox right now. Right? Especially without Jabril Cox. This is what the linebacker room looks like right this second as we speak. Micah Parsons, LVE, Luke Gifford. Those are your veterans. Those are your starters. Story Jackson, Aaron Hansford, Devin Harper as your rookies. With Micah and really LVE, the only legitimate guys with playing time in the league, whether Jabril is back or not, but that's neither here nor there. As much as people want to kind of just say, oh, hey, just scoff over everything. LVE, it's great. As long as he's healthy, we're great. Let's just be completely honest here. If this is how the offense or the linebacker room is going to stand, we need LVE to be closer to 2018 than 2021. That's just facts. That's just pure facts. Like, LVE didn't have a miserable season last year. He had a better season in 2020 and 2019 because he stayed healthy, right? Was he great? Nah. I don't even think I'd consider him having a good year. I think he might have had an average to an above average year in certain parts of the season. But sometimes that's fine. I don't think that would be fine if we only have LVE, Micah Parsons, Jabril Cox, Luke Gifford as your guys. And that's no knock on a Devin Harper, Story Jackson, Aaron Hansford, guys that I like. Well, I like Story. I haven't really looked into Aaron as much and Devin, but that's no knock. These are undrafted and 7th round pick type of dudes. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not going to bring in an Anthony Barr or Quan Alexander type that has experience in this league being extremely productive, then you need LVE. I'm putting pressure. It is what it is. To be great? You need him to be closer to great than average, if that makes sense. Closer to great than average. And I know I hear a lot of this, T-Hawk, and I hope you're absolutely, I don't know what a bounce back year, comeback year will look like, because he technically last year was his comeback year, right? If we're being completely honest, last year was the comeback year. So we need him to have a better than a comeback year. He played all the games last year. What was your name? T-Hawk? T-Hawk? He played all the games. His comeback year was last year. Now we need him to take another step, which it's weird because we need him to kind of go back to the future. We need him to be 2018. We need him to be a playmaker, a difference maker. Maybe having the defensive line in front will make him better, but that's what we're going to need as we stand. Because I love Jabril, but I don't think Jabril is going to be playing inside a lot. I think he's going to be doing more of that hybrid stuff, more of that covering the tight ends, more will type of things. It's LVE and Micah in there. And I always said you need a thumper type to free up Micah sometimes to do extra things. So that's kind of my take on the LVE thing. And then Golston, I'm going to just say this. I really cannot wait to see Golston in person, because if he really put that on and he's really, eating inside that 3 tech, some things could be different. And I think we had touched on this a bit. It's interesting. They put more weight on Neville Gallimore to play more some of that one, I think. So then that means if he's going to play more one and Osa's your 3, the depth behind Osa, the 3 technically takes a hit, right? It's not Neville and Osa. It's Osa and Tristan. Do they like him or not? Now it's Osa, Tristan, and Ghostin. So we'll see. All right, let's get to the horn here. 205. What it is, what it do.
What's going on with this guy?
What up? Is this landlord?
Yes, sir. How you doing, man? You all right?
I'm good, man. Look, I could tell from the twang right away that was you, brother. What's good with you, man?
Yeah, man. Hey, you know I'm a country boy, man. We ain't in no rush. That's why we talk so slow. We ain't got much going on. You feel?
Listen, my mom moved down to North Carolina, and me and my lady, we stopped somewhere randomly, and just the Southern hospitality, that's real down there, man. Just the most random person will show it to you.
We give everybody love and respect that they supposed to have.
I
you know
appreciate
what I'm saying?
that.
But I was just thinking, man, I got a decent little metaphor about how I look at this coach. Because, like, LBE never had the same DC 2 years in a row. Even though he had that good year, it's like the DC always being shipped out, turned over.
Sure.
So I looked at it like a lot of casual football fans don't really get this because, like, coaching is super important. I look at it like a toolbox. If you got a toolbox, one person might just pick it up and, you know, just have it as a weight, a paperweight or something.
Mm-hmm.
One man can pick it up and build you a car or fix you a car. Like, these players ain't nothing but tools, man. The right person get their hands on them, they can do whatever they want to do with them. And, like, as a player, you kind of in a vulnerable situation because all you can do is what the coach tell you to do. See what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important for good coaching. And
sure. Just
imagine if Micah would have got the wrong coach. We might have not even seen this Micah this early.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? That's how important coaching is. So we finally got us a real DC, man, and a lot of people just don't understand how great that is. Like, we need to hold on for dear life for Dan Quinn. We don't need to let him go at all. This defense got a chance to be special. Like, everybody overlooking that because we used to, I'm going to be done with this. Everybody overlooking that because we used to just relying on the offense. That's how the Cowboys been getting down for years. Yeah. It's just been offense or bust. But now I feel like we got a legitimate defense to help us out.
Yeah, I remember talking at the end of the season, landlord, about the many different coordinators defensively that we've had since, 2012? Or whenever the Rob Ryan situation was, you know, Rob Ryan, then Lane Kiffin, then Rob Marinelli, then we brought what's the cat's name? Chris Richard and Rob Marinelli, and then Mike Nolan, and now Dan Quinn. There was just so much turnover defensively that you couldn't possibly string together quality defenses year in, year out with so many philosophy switching and different things, different coaching. It's almost impossible to do that. Dallas needed to settle on a defensive coordinator like they had done offensively. Think about this for a second. Dallas hasn't really had an offensive philosophical shift in over a decade. In 15 years. Excuse me. Jason Garrett came on in 2007.
For a long time, man.
Not just JG. Not even just JG. JG came on, got his play calling duty stripped, but he brought on a guy that he coached under and learned from as well that ran similar stuff in Scott Linehan. What did Scott Linehan do? Brought a guy who he coached up in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore's here, so the DNA offensively has been the same, which and obviously the focus has been on offense a lot too, but now the focus seems to be shifting a bit defensively. And if the Cowboys want to remain a quality defense consistently, they have to stick to a philosophy, a certain coaching tree or something. Because even if Dan Quinn goes, then damn it, hire what's the cat, the secondary coach, Joe Witt.
Somebody that's under him.
Joe Witt. Keep Joe Witt around. You know what I'm saying? as opposed to continue to switch things up. So I say all that to say I'm with you, man. Keep Dan Quinn, or keep something of Dan Quinn's here as much as you can so that you can continue to have quality defenses, man, or you're just going to continue to be up, down, and never get over that type of hump.
See, we had consistency, but not the right kind of consistency on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just wanted to highlight the Scott, man. I appreciate you, man. Keep doing God's work out there, man. We love with the content, man.
Hey, I appreciate you as well, man. And you're killing it right now on your channel. Let them know where they can find some of your Cowboys content.
Oh, yeah, man. Just holler at me, man, at Landlord from Alabama on all social media sites, man. Appreciate you, Scott.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Yeah, I didn't mean to go on the whole tangent there, but I don't even think I have the visual, because I think sometimes I say this to y'all a lot. Like, sometimes you got to see it. Let me see if I still got it up there. I probably took it off. Sometimes you just... Oh, I got rid of it. You just got to see it to really see how many damn coordinators the Cowboys went through. Yeah, I think I got rid of that visual. I'll bring it back on another day, but they got to settle, man. And when I say settle, I don't mean it in a negative way. They got to get plant their feet, grow some roots philosophically, so that the Ravens, the Steelers, you wonder, why they have consistently good defenses over a 20-year period. Now, I'm not saying they got to go to that extent, but because they have roots, they have a philosophy, and they have a farm system, if you will, that they're not changing a bunch of things up year in, year out. They know the type of players they want, and their system, a proven system, it works. So, what y'all talking about in here? I think we got one more? I think we got through all of our tweets. I think we hit the Twitter streets, and I think we cool. Oh, okay. There is one more that I want to touch on, and that's the Tony Pollard situation. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring that up. Bree says, no Deebo Samuel in Dallas, no problem. Notable from Cowboys OTAs, Tony Pollard practicing as a slot wide receiver for Dak Prescott behind one CD Lamb. I asked Chill about this specifically, like, hey, man, does this feel like there is a real, I don't want to say change, but a real dedication to using Tony Pollard as a pass catcher? He said there's always been, because they've always talked about it, but then we get to the season and Tony Pollard, how many receptions did he have last year? Y'all, like 20 something? I mean, maybe it's more. Hopefully it was more. But I think that's craziness to me. I think Tony Pollard, if we're keeping it real, should be top this year, top 3, 4 in targets and receptions. I mean, go look at the Alvin Kamara situation. Austin Eckler had 92 receptions as a reserve running back a couple years ago. He wasn't a starter. He was a reserve. He was splitting time with, what was it, Melvin at the time, I think it was? Melvin Gordon. Hell, we always talk about Alvin Kamara and Melvin Ingram. Melvin Ingram? Alvin Kamara and Ingram. I think Melvin Ingram was it. But Ingram and Kamara, we talk about them, but hell, go Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler. I'd take that. I'd take that because they used Austin Eckler how I visualize using Tony Pollard. So I don't know how to look at this right now because 4 of the top 5 wide receivers are out. And if Tony Pollard's not the next guy in line to do some more receiving things, then what the hell are you doing, right? So part of Sky is like, oh man, this is awesome to hear. The other part is like, okay, this is 3. I have 3 years of proof with this offensive coordinator that we don't use Tony Pollard in that way. So while I want to get excited, that is holding me back a little bit, and I'm going to need to see Kellen Moore really implement this stuff and stick with it. And that's honestly kind of how it is with this team in general, which sucks, man. And I'm going to try to not allow it to suck the fun out of the season, because what happened last year could cause a lot of fans to, if we're having a good season, to kind of like, nope, I don't care. We're 7-1. Toxic Tom Downey burner account. We're 7-1. I don't care. Got to see in the playoffs. That's fair. That is totally fair. But join me, and hopefully I stick to it. Join me in just living week to week. If you do that, then once the playoffs get here, now we can kind of go a different route. But that's the kind of thing that sucks here, man. This whole Tony Pollard thing is kind of a microcosm of how most Cowboy fans feel about the Cowboys in general. Yeah, that's cool. He's doing this now, but what's gonna happen when it really gets real? When it really gets real. All right, we are now in the overtime. I need to get me an overtime drop. We're in overtime, man. I'm feeling good. It's Feel Good Friday. And here come Mozart. I think that means that, it's time to go to the bathroom. So real quick, because I think he about to join this show again. Real quick, man. There he goes. There he goes, y'all. He's back. Mozart is back, and I think he's telling me it's time to go to the bathroom. Okay, let's go. Come on. See, that's the magic word for him is come on. So, with that said, he's like, oh, you tricked me. With that said, Cowboys Nation, man, this has been a fantastic show because I don't feel like dealing with no mess around the house. Y'all know me. This has been a fantastic show. Great call by our guy Chill over at the Star Telegram, Cowboys beat reporter. Run that thing back if you haven't. If you missed it, great stuff today. I will chop some of this up. We'll get it back out later on, so make sure you hit those notification bells on the way out and press this button because he's starting to cry now, and I don't want to, So we're going to get out of here. Good stuff. Love y'all. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Have fun. Check me out on Twitter. I'll probably be talking about some things. Time to go. Love y'all. Get out of here. Peace.
Squad!